Call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of September 13th, 2018 at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo is absent tonight. Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Attorney Zemanek?
Here.
Village Manager May?
Here.
Finance Director Parker?
Here.
Before I ask you to rise for the pledge, we lost one of our longtime residents and supporter of the community who was our crusader for the flag. And I'm going to ask, and when we stand now, before we start the pledge, I'm going to ask Trustee Addington to say a few words. So if you please rise with me. And before I start, I'd ask Trustee Addington.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I want to rise today to give honor to one of our special people from this town. Bill Wavak has passed away at the age of 92 from cancer. He was a World War II veteran. He was in the Navy, served on a destroyer. He was very active in this community, I think in the VFW and the American Legion. He served for a very long period of time as a member of the Fire and Police Commission. He was a 52-year member. It was the oldest serving member of the Westmont Lions Club. And I think he was sponsored by his father, Bill Wavak Sr. I had the great privilege to be able to call Bill my friend for almost 50 years. I think Wavak's Hardware was the very first business I walked into when I bought my house, my first house here in Westmont, because I needed something, and that's where you went for something. He was a great husband. He and Joe were married, I think, for over 60 years. They raised 3 very successful, wonderful children, and he liked to have fun. One story I would like to tell, because I think this says a lot about Bill. Something happened at a Lions Club, and this goes back 25, 30 years ago, and Bill was not happy with something I did, and he said so. And there were words, and the next day there was a knock on my door. And here's Bill Wavak holding in his hands a twig or a branch that he had busted off one of his bushes, and he had glued olives on it. So he brought me an olive branch to say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoken the way I did. But that was Bill. He liked to have fun. He liked to do things that were good, and that's the way he was. But he was really liked by everybody. I don't know anybody who didn't enjoy being around Bill Wavak. So let's have a moment of silence, if we can, please, for Bill. So as we go forward tonight, I would like to say the Pledge of Allegiance and to start it the way Bill always did. And he would say, "This is our flag," and he'd point to it. And he would say, "Remember what it stands for. Remember the people who fought for it and died for it and the freedom that that flag gives us." So if you all join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Addington.
There are no notifications yet for arrangements, but we will pass that on to everyone as soon as we know how that's going to work out.
Thank you. Moving on to open forum. I have one request, and that's from Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins on 19 West 63rd Street in Westmont. And they want to come up and address the board. We'll need your name too, right?
Sure,
Mayor
Mayor
Mo? Yeah.
So I'm the corporate multi-unit manager for I have 8 stores around the Berwyn, Oak Park, Cicero, Chicago, and then one in Westmont. I have some invoices actually I bring. Concerned about is like the waste management and then landscaping. I took my all 7 stores. I see the price difference almost like couple of years back, I mean, there's almost 25% more we're paying on Westmont compared to all my other suburbs. I do bring all the invoices to compare the prices. So I talked to the lady yesterday, came yesterday to ask about what I can do to get the lower price. She said, like, we're in the contract for the village. We can't do anything, but the village can consider for board meeting if they want to renew the contract with the same provider. So you can bring some witness or anything, you know, we can consider something. So I bring all the invoices, the current invoices from Westmont, and then past invoices for the other stores. I see the difference, a big difference on it, like at least 20, 25% more price-wise. So that's my concern only, yeah.
Thank you.
You want? That's,
And, yeah, I think we've renewed it, and we'll look into that next time.
We do have a contract, and it does have a life left on its term, and a feature of the contract is the rates that are set for the entire municipality
Okay.
are done so with the package that also allows them being the exclusive vendor for the commercial rate. So we're not disputing that you might be seeing a difference, but it's a function of how this contract is laid out for the entire community. And that doesn't help your concern, but that's an explanation for why it exists like it is. And we can get more information from the clerk's office tomorrow to better describe that
Can you
for
just
you.
ask one more question? The other question is, the village has to sign certain, like, provider, or we can do something else, right? We can't change them, right?
You do not have the option of
Optional
another
change.
provider.
Okay, got it. All right, so, okay. the
I
both-
will note that I will come out and speak with you afterwards to get your contact information. Several months ago, when we had addressed this issue or similar issues at the village board at a committee level, the committee had asked me to keep note of individuals who would express some frustration or questions about the contract with Waste Management, so that next time there is a contract question at the board level and up for renewal, I can reach out to you to let you know. So at this point, at this board meeting, there's nothing we can do about the contract. But what we can do is get your information so that next time there is a question on the contract, we can invite you to come and be able to
You
speak.
can weigh in again at that time.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
I'll come speak with you after and get your
Sounds
contact
good.
information.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anybody else for open forum, seeing none, I'll close open forum and move on to reports. My reports first, and just a couple of updates about our sister city. The Double 10 ceremony will be on October the 10th, 10 a.m. at Village Hall. That is their anniversary date. Everyone is invited. We're going to unveil a brick display in front honoring our sister city. And I know Jenny will say this, but if you're watching us, you're probably not going to go out and watch the homecoming parade because it starts in about 20 minutes. So School District 201, I congratulate those that are in the parade and their king and queen. We had a 100th anniversary committee meeting today. It's our 97th year this year, and the committee is planning some celebrations to be part of the Administration and Finance meeting with the start time of 5:30 at our next November 8th meeting. So we'll bring in, and at that point, we'll unveil the mural and celebrate our 97th. The State of the Village annual event sponsored by the Chamber will be held on October 26th, Friday at 7:30 at Tico on 63rd Street. And you can contact the Chamber for additional ticket information. And that's all I have. Clerk Simsky.
As you said, I'm going to tell everybody to go out and watch the parade. We don't get to because we're here working, but we would be out there if we could be. It's a beautiful night. Take time in the next week during this good weather to go outside and walk around and enjoy your neighborhoods and your friends and do it while the weather's nice before we get all the yuck and we don't go anywhere. So that's all.
Thank you. Trustee Parker.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, I forgot.
You're sitting too close to Jim.
I forgot the most important thing. For the spring election, The packets will be ready. I believe we have 3 trustees, the one we don't know how he's going to be doing. And we don't think he'll be running here.
Amen.
That need to be elected, and we will have, I believe, 3 library trustees, board members that will be elected. So packets will be ready Tuesday, September 18th for distribution. So
Yeah.
come in and get them and get to work.
And again, the filing period is not till December, so just come in and look at them, and that'll explain everything.
Right, pick it up. We have a packet for you. So.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. Westmont First has a meeting on Monday, September 17th at the Westmont Library at 6 PM. And in the past, we've done quarterly what we called roundtable discussions. This one is a kind of a meet and greet, and we're looking forward to it. This one is our houses of worship. So we've gone out to the houses of worship and invited them to come in and talk with us and get to know each other. So we're looking forward to that on Monday night. And then this past Monday, we had a EIC meeting, the Environmental Improvement Committee meeting. And there are all kinds of things going on. You'll see some promotional stuff in Neighbors Magazine pertaining to the pumpkin smashing event again and the pumpkin composting. There is a solar power presentation at the library on September 19th for people to enjoy. And then there is a Westmont native tree and shrub sale that supports Richmond Gardens, and you can order that through the village website. Orders must be placed by October 5th. And the other event that we're working on is in conjunction with the police department shred event on the 20th of October. We're promoting light bulb recycling. The village has purchased a
Bulb eater.
bulb eater, it's called. It's a device that pulverizes the bulbs in a safe manner instead of throwing them in your trash and ending up in a landfill. And we'll be accepting bulbs from residents at the police department, where you'll just drive up and hand those off to some volunteers, and we'll pass them off to a village staff member that's been trained with the device to pulverize those bulbs, and we'll take them off your hands for you. You'll see more promotional stuff coming out about that, but, tell your neighbors, this is an opportunity to get rid of those bulbs that you're not gonna use anymore, and you'll see more PR related to that, so we're excited about that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Trustee Little.
Mayor, I have a lot of items on the agenda tonight. Thank you very much. Starting with my report, we had a Administration Finance Committee meeting this afternoon, and the 2 big things that I wanted to point out were the update on the brush pickup program ordinance. We cleared up some wordage that needed to be fixed, and so that'll be taken care of. And then we also discussed a resolution for responsible bidder. So that information will be made available to everyone shortly. That's all I have on that one, but I did want to bring up some information on the Wicked West Fest. And if I could get Director Forsberg to provide us with photographs. The Wicked West Fest includes the Trick or Treat Trail, the Wicked West Fest Costume Contest. We getting any of these? There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Pumpkin Smashing Extravaganza, the casket races, and more on Saturday, October the 20th. We start at 10:30. We kick it off until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There is more information on the website, so please come out and join us for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. That includes the kids doing trick-or-treating around town. So that's also very, very important for the kids. So definitely come out for that one. The next issue of Neighbors Magazine is due out in October. We're also working on a brochure for the Muddy Waters exhibit. And then the village averages about 30 social media posts per month, and we now have more than 1,750 Facebook followers, which is really nice to see, people coming along and following what's happening in Westmont. We do have, if you want to receive notifications about what's happening in the village and the different programs, services, meetings, community events, and press releases, the village website at www.westmont.illinois.gov, and sign up for Notify Me, and these will automatically come out to you. Notify Me link is on the left side of the webpage, and follow the directions for signing that up. If you need any assistance, contact Larry McIntyre at 630-417-0280. Also, be sure to like the Village of Westmont Facebook page. There's a lot of good information posted there. Also, a look for more frequent police and fire safety posts on our Facebook page. You'll see more about that information. And now to cover Trustee Guzzo's works. If I could ask DC Riley to come up and talk about the fire department, and what's going on. I know you've got a lot of stuff in the works.
I do. Thank you, Trustee Little. A lot in the works. Busy week, busy month. First thing I'd like to show is the 95th anniversary celebration. Is basically 1 month from tonight, October 13th, at the headquarters fire station at 6015 South Cass. That goes from 1 to 3. We'll have a bunch of things for the kids. We're having a retiree luncheon prior to the open house, burn cell demonstration. Even with all the construction going out there, we'll make it work at the headquarters station. So come on out and enjoy, hopefully, which will be a great Saturday afternoon. The other thing I'd like to talk on is the silent parade, which is the end of fire prevention week, which will be October 12th. 7 p.m. along Naperville Road, Chicago Avenue. Come out with your flashlights and support those fallen firefighters that have perished, along with the 343 firefighters that we lost on September 11th. And speaking of September 11th, we had one of the largest turnouts on Tuesday night, September 11th, to remember the fallen heroes. Almost 150 people in attendance. It was absolutely amazing. We had a great guest speaker, Dan Bonko from Indiana. He was actually one of those that was on the 57th floor of one of the buildings prior to it coming down, so he got out, and just a amazing story and a tearjerker of all the things that he went through and still remembers to this day. So that was a great guest speaker for us that day. And then the next thing the fire department has is the Senior Car Care Clinic is coming up on September 29th from 8 to 11. At, again, the headquarters fire station, 6015 South Cass. And this is where the seniors can come out and get their wipers checked, their tires checked, fill all the fluids in their car to make sure that they're ready to go in for the winter season. So this is the 3rd year in a row that this is a free senior event for the seniors. And the next one that I have is a Bowl Away Burns. This is an IFSA supports the burn camp. This is held September 29th, 2018, and it's right here in our town at the Suburbanite Bowl. It's a social, and dinner starts at 6:30 with bowling at 7:30. The cost is $40 a person. This includes 2 free drinks, dinner, bowling shoes, and 3 hours of open bowling. So Trustee Nero, I hope you'll get a group of those members and come out. You can purchase tickets at www.ifsa.org, www.ifsa.org. And lastly is CPR classes are being held. They're being taught by EMS Coordinator Lynn Drowley at the Westmont Fire Department. There's a $50 fee per person. Info's on the website, or you can contact the fire department at 630-981-6400. That's all I have. Thank you,
And,
Trustee
Chief,
Little.
before you, understand we lost a longtime volunteer from
Yes.
EMA, 45 years, and I thought maybe.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. 45 years, Mr. Ed Jenkins passed away this week. He was really one of the founding fathers of EMA and really did a lot for EMA and kept it all together and really passed the torch and mentored a lot of the EMA members that are still there today. And his memorial service is tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in Clarendon Hills at Community Presbyterian Church. Chief Weiss and myself will both be in attendance for that. So anybody that'd like to come and have a memorial service and pay the respects to Ed, we'd greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
If I could call up Chief Gunther?
Thank you, Trustee Little. A couple updates from the police department. We have a payment box now available in front of the police station, so we can take payments for parking tickets, parking permits, water billing, or any other payments to the village. So it mirrors the mailbox that we have out in front of a Village Hall. It's a convenience thing, so the north side of the town can now not have to cross the railroad tracks to drop something off. We are still taking applications for the upcoming Citizens Police Academy. It's 9 weeks with a break for Thanksgiving. And we have some of the usual classes, some of the new classes, traffic stops, crime scene, SWAT, active shooter response, all sorts of interesting topics. And applications are available on the village website under the Police Department tab, where there's a Citizens Police Academy tab, and application is located there. Or a hard copy application is also available at the police station. As Trustee Barker mentioned, we are having our shred event, of which the environmental committee's participating with the light bulbs, as was mentioned, but that is on October 20th from 9 to noon at the police station. And finally, on October 27th, we have our second National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock at the police station and at Mariano's down on 63rd Street. And more information is available on our village website for things that we will accept and things that we will not accept. But that is a very good service, and we get back hundreds of pounds of prescription medication that would otherwise go in bad places. So that's all I have.
Including down the drain, which is a bad place.
Including down the drain, which is a bad place, correct. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then one last note, school is back in session. Please remember to drive safe, especially around schools and unloading times. Watch the school buses. I've seen some pretty hairy stuff going on in the local area, not our neighborhood, but somebody else's, that somebody went around a school bus that was stopped. So please be mindful of our children. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items. Our next Public Works Committee meeting is December 8th. And the only other item I want to remind everybody is early voting starts September 27th. So if you haven't gotten registered, please get registered. I think I know of one good candidate on the ballot. So
Yeah.
that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go over here, Trustee Addington.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Again, we have been getting, I think, complaints from folks on the south side because semis have been parking in. We have a couple of shopping centers who have basically been shut down. We have been working on those and with the property owners, and they're gonna have some signs erected and some other things so that, again, if you see semis that are parked where they shouldn't be, let us know. We will take affirmative action because we also have designated spots in town where they can park, where it's not a problem. And the other thing that I have this evening is to just mention, a lot of you know Joe Hennerfund, who is our planner. Joe did an unbelievable job for us with the sign ordinance, but unfortunately, he'll be leaving us as of September 28th. We hate to see Joe go, but I understand that he's got a nice position at the Village of Schaumburg, and so we wish him nothing but good luck and thank him for all the wonderful things that he did for us while he was here. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had an opportunity last night to attend the opening of the Burness Park on Wilmette, and a lot of us were there, and what a great park. What a fantastic addition to the village, and really, I encourage everyone to get out there and take a look at it and hit the pathways and bring your fishing pole. There's a great fishing pier that's so designed to bring kids to. I mean, it's like the perfect scenario. So hats off to the Park District and all the, I think they said 20 years they've been working on getting that. So again, hats off to that project, and encourage everyone to get out there. At our last EDC meeting, we had an exciting presentation from the Ryan Group. And they have a plan to redo the old Rockwell building on Pasquinelli. And one of their changes is to eliminate the center building and to create executive parking under. And what this does is it makes the workers' parking closer. And this is really sought after in the western suburbs because so many places are divided, so many different places have to park far, and then their employees have to deal with all that. So they have a new innovative design that they're looking to bring to us, and we're very excited to have some activity at that, one of our biggest locations in town. So hopefully that continues to move forward. Our next EDC meeting will be November 7th at 9 a.m., and we meet in the room right next door to the Village Hall here. And then next Wednesday, we have our chamber open house, and that's September 19th. That's from 5 to 7, and that's at the Westmont Fitness Club. And we're really encouraging everyone to come out and pack the house. The Park District wants to show everyone the changes to the fitness club, and we definitely want to support Greg Pill and the rest of the staff there. So again, September 19th, 5 to 7 at the Westmont Fitness Club. And as always, we recommend to shop, dine, and discover Westmont.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Good job.
Moving on the agenda, items to be removed from the consent agenda.
We would like to remove E, which is, the wonderful young lady is here to accept that proclamation this evening. So we'll remove the Constitutional Week, or Constitution Week proclamation from the consent agenda, vote on a separate item, so we can present it to her.
Okay, so we'll do it separately. Anyone else want an item removed? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read the consent agenda.
Thank you. We have a nice short consent agenda this evening, but the first item being Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held August 30, 2018. With the finance ordinance in the aggregate amount of $1,954,235.22. There's only one purchase order this evening, that is for Thomas Engineering Group. $26,035.68 represents the engineering design services for the, it says the engineering for the Cass Burlington realignment, but it's the S-curve improvements there. Brings the total of the purchase orders and the finance ordinance to $1,980,270.90. And with the proclamation removed, that concludes the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made, second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Anik?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Now we'll take the one item that was removed, the proclamation, Constitution Week 2018, and the board's going to consider a proclamation to honor Constitution Week 2018, and I think Manager May is going to read.
Yeah, I wish Ruth was here, but I can read it.
Okay.
We have a proclamation declaring September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Whereas on September 17th, 1787, our founding fathers signed the Constitution. September 17th, 2018 marks the anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, by Mayor Rhonda Gunter, by the virtue and authority vested in him as Mayor of the Village of Westmont, along with the Westmont Village Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2018 as Constitution Week, and asks our citizens to reaffirm the ideals that the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Addington.
Second, Little?
Motion been made in second. A question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
And we have a representative here, Jane. It is Jane Rice, and she's with the Daughters of American Revolution. If you'd like to come up, we could present you with the proclamation. And thank you for coming. Thank you. And if you'd like to say anything, that's your time. See that, Jim?
You want me to learn from that, right?
All right, thank you. We do not have any unfinished business. I'll move on to new business. A, an engineering agreement, CBD Alley Reconstruction Project, Section D. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Thomas Engineering Group for Phase 1 and 2 design engineering services for the proposed Central Business District, or the CBD, Alley Reconstruction Project. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is requesting approval of a sum of $57,104.96 for Phase 1 and Phase 2 design engineering services for the proposed CBD Alley Reconstruction Project, Section D, bounded by Cass and Linden and between Irving and Burlington. Thomas Engineering will coordinate their efforts between the new developer of 1 North Cass and reconstruct Burlington Avenue as part of the project with green initiatives, brick pavers, pervious materials, similar to the past projects we've done in the alleys. So staff is going to recommend approval of the proposal of the amount for Phase 1 and Phase 2 for the alley project.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barker?
Second, Barry.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. Additional comments or question? Nobody?
Yes, sir.
And I know you commented, but I assume the bricks are gonna stay the same, it's just gonna be consistent with what we've done?
Yep, exactly. And this is the last phase on the east side. So we're going to work with the contractor at 1 North Cass, so we're going to coordinate with them. If for some reason the project gets delayed and we're still going to move forward getting the alley done, but we'll still work with them when the time comes when they start doing their project.
Great.
And Mike, and we've done the alleys now this third, fourth year. I keep losing track, but
Yeah, this coming up, the one we're starting, we just had a pre-con meeting today. We're going to be starting that project, Section E, which is between Linden and Norfolk and Irving. We'll be starting that in a week and a half, so that'll be the third year. This is actually for next year.
This is designed for.
Designed for the
Designed for it.
following year, yeah, correct.
But all the alleys we already put in, have you experienced any issues or problems with the bricks?
No, not with the bricks. The only problems we really have is,
Red butts.
Yeah.
well, but we're still dealing with NICOR, trying to get them to do the restoration in the alley. We have a solution for that now. We're actually going to hire the contractor that's doing this work to go ahead and fix that alley, you know, what I'm talking about behind Uptown there with the holes still there. And we're going to go back and go after NICOR for the money for it. Because we can't wait any longer for them. Too many people are complaining about it as a hazard. We need to get it fixed. So we're going to have the contractor who's doing this work fix that patch, make a patch for us and fix it, and then that will get taken care of right away. As soon as they start the work, they're going to jump over there and fix it when they start doing the pervious concrete for this project.
Again, the main reason, other than they look beautiful, is that they serve the purpose of stormwater.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, it does.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business B, a resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code, 2018 MFT resurfacing project. Board to consider an Illinois Department of Transportation resolution for the village's 2018 MFT resurfacing project number 18-00000-00-GM. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting the appropriation of a sum of $390,000 for the 2018 MFT resurfacing project from the village's allotment of motor fuel tax funds. Staff's recommending approval of this resolution in the amount of $390,000 for the 2018 MFT resurfacing project. One thing you have to understand is that we're just asking for the appropriation of this money. We actually won't be looking to
start this project until the spring. So at that time, then we'll come back to the board and ask for the appropriate funds. I mean, but this is so we can, so the IDOT understands that that the board is going to allot that money when the time comes. They don't want to work on a project unless we know that they can get a commitment from us that we're going to commit that funds to the project.
The motion.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Barry.
Motion been made in second. Comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, responsible bidder resolution. Board to consider a resolution defining responsible as contained in competitive bidding statutes. And I'd ask Manager May to give a little additional comments.
Yes, with there's already, when doing competitive, for everyone else's familiarity, when we do the larger public improvement projects, large contract amounts, there's a responsibility to put together contract documents and go through a competitive bidding process. We do many of our projects through, whether it's motor fuel tax or other state-funded ones, and there's, how you put the contract documents together are all well-defined. But but sometimes we have projects that we do with our own funds, whether it's out of the water fund or rarely, but on occasion out of the capital fund. All of our work, we have the obligation, not just the obligation, but the desire to, you want to award the contract to contractors that are capable. You know they'll finish the work, they'll do good work, and they will complete the project in a expected time frame and do it in a responsible manner. So all of that together, the resolution has, I'm not gonna, unlike Constitution Week, I'm not gonna read the entire resolution, but it reaffirms that we follow that process for awarding contracts to the lowest responsible bidder, but it further defines what it means to be responsible. So there's general definitions in the state statute that define that, and then this enables us to apply more criteria to what it means to be a responsible bidder, and puts more of the governing on us to be able to define that. So that's what's contained in here. I want to further add, I mean, we talked about it at Administration Finance Committee for a while, fine-tuned it, and I don't want to say this is something new that we're doing. This is something we've been doing all along. This is just a reaffirmation of what we're doing with that further definition of responsibility.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
On the question.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things we talked about at administration was to be sure that we put into the motion as discussed at the Finance and Administration meeting, so that some of these grammatical changes and all were incorporated into the document that's being approved.
Thank you.
It's been done, and Ginny has the clean copy that incorporates those changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and second. Any additional comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business D.
And do we want to sign it and give it to the gentleman?
Is that what they're,
Yeah, that good-looking guy in the blue shirt would be more than happy to take a signed copy of the resolution with him.
oh, I can do that.
All right, well, we
Let
won't be able to do it. We've got the one copy for
All
the
right.
ordinance, and then we'll.
we'll make sure, yeah, we'll get
So
you.
we'll make sure, yeah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. New business D, amendment to section 70-160 of the Westmont Municipal Code. Board to consider ordinance to repeal and replace section 70-160, placement of house numbers by owners and occupants, size of numbers, and failure to comply, and to add an exception to the 2012 International Property Maintenance Code of the Westmont Municipal Code of Ordinances. Interim Director Burke.
The board may recall that while we were conducting routine property maintenance enforcement in many alley areas throughout the village, staff encountered a significant number of properties that did not have posted addresses facing the public alleyways. After conferring with fire, police, and public works, it was determined that requiring certain properties to have an alley-facing address, as well as the regular street frontage address, would assist in the provision of more efficient emergency service response and provide assistance at the community development and public works departments in providing their services to the residents. As discussed and approved at the July 19th Community Development Committee meeting, the village staff and village attorney have translated the committee's direction into a proposed code amendment, which is in your packet. Communications staff was also consulted on this issue and subsequently disseminated a 3-part article in the last issue of Neighbors, which introduced or rolled out the alley address program to the general public in order to urge compliance with the new requirements to come. The proposed code amendment also creates separate requirements for residential and commercial development.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Addington.
Second, Little?
Motion made and seconded. On the question, trustee Barker.
Yeah, and I know we put it in Neighbors. Did we send any letters to those people that were affected or contacted them in any way? Because, you know, there's gonna be a lot of, why I agree this is the right thing to do, it's a good thing to do. There's gonna be a lot of pushback because there's an inconvenience and there's a cost for people to have to do this, but we didn't.
We did not send anything ahead of time. I think now that the ordinance is passed, we'll probably send a letter and give them a certain amount of time to comply, as we do with a lot of code enforcement
Yeah.
issues.
And then I would ask that we're just kind of generous with that, the first thing out of the box.
It's not urgent timing, we can be generous with it.
Totally agree.
So then, am I to understand, like, once this comes in, then I assume like code enforcement or the police officers or something are gonna go down every alley up and down Westmont and make sure that address numbers are on every fence or whatever is facing the alley? Is that how that's gonna go?
Can, if that's how you would.
Well,
like
I'm
it.
just asking, otherwise it seems like, and the same with the next one, it almost seems like a waste to put it on the books if it's something we're just gonna put on there and not enforce.
So, good question, and the first step is to have the ordinance and say, this is the desire of how we want it to be. It's not about being in violation, it's about bringing it up to the standard. So certainly when new construction applies or any permit work, that can be checked and done. We can decide ourselves at what pace we want to go and notify people and say, by the way, this ordinance is in place, you know, please comply. If we want to pick away at that or do the whole town at once, it's our option.
Make sure your email box is empty if we're gonna enforce that throughout the town at once, you know?
I think we need to stress it's for their safety. If the fire department needs to get down there, or the police department needs to go down the alley, they need to be able to identify an address readily. So I think that by stressing for the safety of the public, that it would be
It's a good point. There could be an informational summary with it of the purpose of the ordinance. and then-
absolutely, so they're not feeling like they're being penalized, but more for their safety concerns.
I guess the question, and maybe we could give direction now, but how do we feel the enforcement should be done?
Well, I was going to suggest that one of the ways you could maybe shortstop some of the enforcement is to ask people just to email us when they're done. If we don't get a contact, we know which ones to hit, I guess that's the best way to say it. People usually are pretty cooperative. You give them time and they understand what to do, and if the brochure we send out or the letter we send out says, just drop us an email line when you've done this, we'd really appreciate knowing about it. That's not going to guarantee everybody, but it may be a way of short-stopping the going up and down the.
Bruce, when you had the alley cleanup program going, wasn't that done by section or something? Is that how that?
Well, it was based on how much staff was available, you know, and how much, based on their schedules, how they could get in there, but, you know, I think that this would, you know, to read these numbers is gonna be pretty straightforward. I think that, you know, just like it took us forever to get the hook up to the fire panel, I think the same thing is gonna occur. Why it shouldn't drag out for years and years, it should be a reasonable amount of time. But I almost think that we gotta do more than just Neighbors.
Can we put it in the water bill?
There you go.
With the water, but I mean, there's a limited part of town that has, there's the addressing system, but this is kind of focusing on the, you know, the alley and the places where it doesn't exist now, so, you know, that's,
Too broad?
you know, pretty much hugging the tracks a half a mile each way, so we probably should, I don't wanna call it marketing, but direct contact that group that this is in place and work with them individually.
Also want to clarify, this not only applies to residential houses on an alley, but to all commercial properties that, whose rear or side have access ways and they're accessed by a parking lot or other access way, applies equally to them. So the notice isn't just to those in the alley, but commercial properties and multifamily properties also.
Additional comments? Again, I think the direction, we don't take our time enforcing it, get the word out. And again, I agree with Trustee Little, it's more of a safety issue than anything, it's for their benefit. Seeing no additional comments, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E, amendment to section 86-2, excessive height of weeds, plants, and grass. Board to consider an ordinance amending section 86-2 of the Westmont Municipal Code regarding excessive height of weeds, plants, and grass. Director Burke.
Again, while conducting routine property maintenance enforcement throughout the village, code staff have encountered a number of properties that have refused to maintain village parkways, even something as simple as cutting high grass and weeds. As it does not seem to be too great of a burden to the overwhelming number of property owners in the community to at least cut the grass in the parkways bordering their properties, the unwilling can really stick out and bring down the look of the street and the neighborhood. As discussed and approved at the July 19th Community Development Committee, the village staff and village attorney have translated the committee's direction to a proposed code amendment, which is in your packet. The new requirements for parkway vegetation maintenance are wholly in compliance with the requirements for private property vegetation maintenance.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Barker.
Motion made and second to approve on the question. And I don't think this applies, but it may somewhere else in code, but excessive grass that's been thrown on the street. You know, I saw one today. Is that a violation of any village ordinance? That's,
Just
Yes.
yes. Oh, I'll ask, it should be,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have a chapter on streets and rights of way, and it's illegal to deposit materials on the public streets,
Okay,
Including snow.
including snow.
okay.
Or on your neighbor's property.
Our neighbors. All right. Any additional comments?
I go along with something that Harold said earlier. The first one of these I fully agreed with because of all the discussions we had and the safety factor. Again, and this is only we're talking about in the parkway. And so I think I understand, but how do we, again, do we need additional people to enforce this, or do we think this is something that'll just be taken care of by the people we already have on staff?
I imagine 99% of the people cut their parkway grass, and the 1% are gonna stick out and be pretty easy to find.
I went through
We
several
probably know who
years-
they are already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I went through several years where we had a neighbor who just refused to do it. It got up that high.
Just the parkway.
Just the parkway. Oh, his lawn was immaculate.
You know, and it's not an uncommon philosophy when the resident, the adjacent property owner finds, like, an area with ditches, that gets cumbersome and difficult, and that's often a statement of dislike of the ditch, is I'm not touching it.
That changed after we put the sidewalks in. But before sidewalks, and maybe that was the cause, was the ditch, but I guess it never bothered me. I went down with my lawnmower into the ditch for 30 years.
I will point out, there's no state statute that specifically lets a municipality or allows a municipality to require a homeowner to maintain a public parkway between the sidewalk and the street. But there is Illinois case law that says a municipality can require a homeowner to keep a sidewalk clear of snow and ice. And that's public property right in front of their property. So by analogy, we should be able to require them to cut the grass. We also have the ability to regulate and control the use of rights-of-ways, to regulate weeds, et cetera, protect public health, safety, welfare. So I think there's ample authority for this ordinance.
I think as we brought up at committee, one of the concerns that I have is that, how do we define natural rain gardens from weeds when we get into the environmentalist who says, that's natural, I want that, and, how do we define that is the concern. And as I commented, a lot of people I see in different subdivisions where they really improve these parkways and make them go way beyond what a normal resident would do and spend money and fix them up. Does this give the village the right at some point to say, well, they're too tall and we don't like that? And so there's concern for me on.
It's a great question.
And if someone were to raise that as an objection, if they were to receive a notice to cut weeds and tall grass and say, well, no, this is ornamental, native grasses, et cetera, the village forester can clearly identify what is ornamental native grass and plantings versus what's an obnoxious
weed.
Yeah.
We also similarly, I mean, just in a, forget the, native plantings and everything, there have people that have just planted gardens and, out in the parkway or, often on a corner. And we do take concern with that just from visibility standpoint too. So when it's in the parkway, we try and take care of it. But the same question applies when you've got tall weeds on your own property. Is it a weed or is it a natural, native plant? So.
And I suppose if the village wanted to had an outbreak of this in the public right-of-way, you could create a very short license agreement that give the resident the right to do that on a limited basis, and they'd have to take it out if they sold the house or something like that.
I've already drafted them for other communities, so.
Yeah.
That's more when they have like planter boxes and stones and,
Sprinklers, right.
yeah, things like that.
But I think to Trustee Barry's comment, we're going to see more and more of that. And so I think if we've got a mechanism to allow it, when it's done for the right reason, I think it's a good idea. Any additional comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Parker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
No.
Trustee Addington?
No.
Motion passes.
No.
Nope. I guess I say
Mayor,
yes.
you need to vote.
I said yes.
You vote yes?
Yes. Well, you needed majority of the seven.
You need
All right.
it.
Yeah, we needed 4 votes, so I vote yes.
Because that's an amendment, John, is that why it needs to have an ordinance?
It requires a majority of the corporate authorities. So we had 3 votes in favor, 2 against, so.
3/7.
Right, so that's not a majority of the corporate authorities, so the mayor is entitled to vote in that case to get that majority.
Thank you.
To make or break a tie.
New business F, memorandum of understanding for fire station alerting system. Board to consider ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding fire station alerting system between the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County and the Village of the Westmont Fire Department. Deputy Chief Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this agreement is to formalize a usage agreement for participating in fire station alerting system licensed to the ETSB, which is the Emergency Telephone Safety Board, and used by the fire service members within the ETSB 911 system service area. Just a little more, this kind of goes with the new CAD project that is going on in the county along with now fire station alerting.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second, Nero.
Motion made in second. Any additional questions or comments?
I would just point out that the ordinance approves this agreement in form and gives authority to the fire chief and to the village attorney to finalize negotiations with the TSB as to the final language, as long as those modifications don't substantially modify any provision of substance in the agreement. So we sent some changes off to ETSB, and we suggested that since there are other participating agencies who also may have changes, we kind of get our heads together around all of those changes so they're uniform for all communities, and we're working to get that finalized. But we didn't want to hold this up because they're looking to roll this out quickly.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Parker.
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous. Anybody forget to mention anything or comment?
I did want to comment on that 9/11 service. It was beautiful. I think both our chiefs should be very proud of their deputies that took charge of that. They were outstanding, both Riley and yours, Gruen. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
So I was very proud of them, and you guys for turning them loose. So
It was a great ceremony.
it was.
I'm going to ask the board for a brief executive session, and I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss pending litigation to discuss 1001 Ogden Avenue Partners versus Westmont pursuant to Section 2C12 of the Open Meetings Act. Do I have a motion?
Motion to go into executive session for the purpose stated.
Second, Little?
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn to executive session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to adjourn to executive session. After the executive session, there will be no further business acted on, and then I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.